All right, I'm back. If your bank account look exactly the same way it did in January 2025, if you're still living paycheck to paycheck despite working harder than ever, if you tried budgeting apps, side hustles, financial gurus, and motivational videos, but nothing has actually changed, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're stupid, right? It's not because you don't work hard enough. It's because you've been lied to. That's a straight up real. That's a straight up truth, right? 3 times. 3 specific times that Wall Street, 3 specific lies that Wall Street, the financial media, and even well-meaning financial advisors have been feeding you your entire life. And these lies are designed to be able to do one thing, y'all. Straight up, keep you exactly where you are. Comfortable enough not to revolt and be mad and pissed off. Uncomfortable enough to keep grinding, right? But today we burn those lies to the ground. And I'm going to show you exactly what they don't want you to know, why they don't want you to know it, and what we're going to do about it starting this week coming up. This isn't motivation. This is relevation. So let's go. Let me pause y'all right quick. Everybody's chasing money. This is 2025, pretty much 2026 now. Nobody's teaching you how to think though. That's the problem that I'm solving with Brick by Brick. No hype, no guru nonsense. No screenshots with the dates cropped out, just real trades, real logic, real losses included. Every week we do this, we walk through exactly what I did, the entry, the exit, the Greeks, and the mistakes I made, because I'm not perfect, so none of us repeat them. You're not buying signals, y'all. You're learning how to see the game, the Greeks room, the full playbook, the framework behind every decision. This isn't a shortcut. Let me make that clear now. It's a skill. So if you're done guessing and actually ready to understand what you're doing with your money, the link's below. Brick by brick. It's built different. You're built different. But let's do this together, y'all. So let me get your financial strategy. Cut back on coffee, cancel a subscription to two, put a few $100 in your savings account every month, watch it grow slowly, feel responsible, feel real proud, right? And then one day, years from now, you'll have enough to what? Retire? Retire at 70? When your knees hurt, your shoulder hurt, your back hurt, you got to pull out the Bengay, the Neosporin, right? Take a modest vacation, cover emergency. Here's what nobody is telling you. Saving is a parking lot. Investing is the highway. Let me show you what I mean. All right. So let's say you save $5,000 this year. You put it in a high yield savings account, earning 4% interest. Great job. Responsible, adult, right? In 10 years with compound interest, that $5,000 roughly becomes $7,400, right? Now, let's say you take that same $5,000 and invest it in the S&P 500 index fund, right? The SPY, SPX. Historically, the market returns about 10% annually. In 10 years, that $5,000 becomes $12,969. More than double, almost triple. Same money, same time frame, $5,500 difference. But it gets better. Or worse, depending on how you've been doing, how you've been doing it, right? Let's say you save $200 every single month for 10 years. Discipline, consistent. That's $24,000 you put away. In a savings account at 4%, that high yield savings account, you'll have about $29,500. But if you invest that same $200 monthly in the market at a 10% return, you'll have $40,915. That's an $11,000 difference for doing literally nothing different except choosing a different vehicle. Now, here's where it gets really crazy, right? Let's extend that to 30 years. Same $200 a month. Savings account, $139,000. Stock market, $452,000. $500,000. That's not a typo. That's a $313,000 difference. That's the difference between retiring broke and retiring free. Between working until you die and walking away on your terms. And yet, we've been conditioned to think that savings is a responsible thing and investing is the risky thing. Now, let me tell you what's actually risky. Letting your money sit while inflation eats it alive. Right now, inflation is around 3.4% annually. Your savings account might match that, which means your money is treading water. It's not growing, but it's not drowning yet. But investing, that's putting your money to work. All right? That's making your dollars multiply while you sleep, while you're at your day job, while you're living your life. Here's the brick by brick principle. Money at rest decays. Money in motion multiplies. Your savings account is a tool. It's where you park your emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's it. Everything else, it needs to be deployed, working, invested. Because saving may make you feel safe, right? But investing makes you truly free. And in 2026, we're done confusing safety with stagnation. So let's talk about lie number 2. I'll start investing when I make more money. That's the one I actually hear the most, right? This is the most seductive lie of all. Once I get that promotion, once I pay off this debt, once I finish with Christmas gifts, once I finish helping my mom out, once I do this, once I do that, once I have an extra $1,000 lying around, then I start investing. Let me tell you what that is. That's the adult version of I'll start going to the gym on Monday. It never happens. Monday never comes. And here's why. You think investing is about an amount, but it's actually about momentum. Let me prove it to you. Scenario A. You wait around all year. You grind, you save. In December, you finally have $5,000 saved up. You invest it all at once. Great. Scenario B. On January 1st, which is in a couple of days, you invest $100. Then on February 1st, you invest another $100. That's $100 every month for the entire year. By December, you also invested $1,200 total. Which person is better off? Most people think scenario A, right? More money invested, right? Wrong. Scenario B wins every time. The person in scenario B got 12 months of market growth on their first $100, 11 months of growth on their second $100, and so on and so on and so on. The person in scenario A got 0 months of growth until December. Time in the market beats time in the market, and it definitely beats waiting for the perfect moment. Let me give you the real numbers. If you invest $100 on January 1st and the market grows 10% that year, your $100 become $110. All right, you follow me so far? If you wait until December to invest that same $100, it's still $100. You missed the entire year growth. Now multiply it across months, years, even decades, right? The person who starts now with whatever they have will always beat the person waiting for more later. Here's the truth Wall Street doesn't want you to know. They don't care if you invest $10 or $10,000. They care that you start, because once you start, y'all, you're in the game. You're learning, you're building a habit, you're creating the identity of an investor. And that identity shift, that's what changes everything. Because the person who invests $100 a month doesn't stay at $100 a month. They increase it. They get raises. But the person waiting to invest $5,000, they're still waiting 5 years later. So here's the move, right? Let's talk about actionable moves. Open a brokerage account this week, preferably right now, today, right? Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, Robinhood, whatever, right? I don't care. Invest $50, $100, $25, doesn't matter. Pick a number that doesn't hurt. Buy a simple index fund, VOO, VTI, SPY, something that tracks the S&P 500. Set it to auto invest every month. Come straight out your bank account. Same day, same amount. And then forget about it. Don't check it every day. Don't panic when it dips. Don't celebrate when it spikes. Just let it run. Because momentum beats income. Consistency beats perfection. And starting today beats starting someday. In 2026, y'all, we're done waiting for permission. We're done waiting for enough. We start now, brick by brick. All right? So, lie number 3. The market is too risky right now, right? And I talk about this all the time. Turn on NBC, turn on Bloomberg, right? Scroll on Bloomberg, scroll Twitter Finance, right? What do you see? Market crash imminent, recession fears. What's my favorite right here? AI bubble, right? Experts warn investors to stay cautious. Fear, fear, fear. And you know what fear does? It freezes wallets. Here's what they won't tell you. The media makes money from your anxiety, not your wealth. Every headline is designed to make you feel something. Panic, urgency, happiness, confusion. Because if you're calm, confident, and investing steadily, you don't click, you don't watch, you don't engage. But if you're terrified, you're glued to the screen. You know, what's going on? So let me give you the truth. The market is always risky. It is always the best place, and it's always the best place for your money. Those two things can be right at the same time. So let me explain. Yes, the market goes down. It crashes, it corrects, it scares people. But zoom out, right? Let's take a real big look at this. The S&P 500 has averaged 10% annual returns for the last century, 100 years, through World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, the Gulf War, 9/11, the war against Afghanistan, everything. Through the Great Depression, through COVID, through 2008, through everything. If you invested $10,000 in the S&P 500 in 1980, it'll be worth over $1 million today. You know what's actually risky? Not investing. Keeping your money in cash while inflation eats 3 to 4% of a value every year, that's a guaranteed loss. Now, let me address the current environment. But interest rates are high, right? There's geopolitical tension. There's the election, the debt ceiling, the Fed, the president. You know what? Let's just stop right now, right? High rates aren't a red light. That's a flashing yellow, right? You already know. Pause and keep going. They mean be strategic, be selective, but don't freeze. Here's what smart money is doing. Dividend ETFs. Companies that pay you quarterly for just holding their stock, right? SCHD, VYM, right? Yields around 3 to 4%. Market money funds earning 4 to 5% right now. Then savings accounts, liquid, safe. Tech retracements, right? We talk about this all the time. Quality companies that got beaten down. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Oracle, all on sale. You don't need to predict the future. You need a position for it. And positioning means diversify, stay disciplined, and ignore the noise. Let me tell you something about fear. Every market, major market bottom, right? Every moment when fortunes, every moment when fortunes are made looks terrifying at the time. March 2020, pandemic panic, right? Everybody thought the world was going to end. If you invested in, you doubled your money in 2 years. 2008, financial collapse. If you invested in, then you triple your money by 2015. The pattern is always the same. Fear creates opportunity. Courage creates wealth. So when the headline screams danger, right? And I hear mystical in my head. I hear discount. So here's your 2026 strategy. Stop trying to time the market. You can't. No one can. Not even the pros. Instead, invest consistently. Same amount, same schedule. Diversify across asset classes. Stocks, bonds, crypto, real estate. Focus on the time in the market, not time in the market. Tune out the noise. Delete the finance apps that make you panic. Build positions. Because here's the secret, y'all. The people who win in investing aren't the smartest. They're not the luckiest. They're the ones who stayed in the game, who didn't panic sell, who didn't let fear win, who trusted the process, ignored the chaos, and kept building. That's you. That's us. That's brick by brick. I can't tell you how many people I know that invested and forgot that the account was there and looked years later and be like, oh, I forgot I had this in here. That's pretty dope. So what I'm saying is brick by brick, what you listen to right now, what you tuned in, it's not about motivation. It's a system, right? Let me show you what that means. Every Friday, at 2:30 p.m. and Sunday at 8 o'clock p.m. when I review my portfolio, not on Monday, not when I feel like it. Friday at 2:30 p.m. I check my dividend schedule. I review my limit orders. I run my Fibonacci levels on key positions. It's not sexy. It's not viral. It's consistency. It's what I do. I don't trade on emotion. I don't chase pumps. I don't panic on dips, right? I follow the system because when motivation fades, discipline compounds. You know what separates the people who build wealth from the people who chase it? System beats willpower every single time. The gym bro who shows up at 6 o'clock in the morning, no matter what, who beats the guy who goes when he's motivated. The writer who writes 500 words every morning beats the one waiting for inspiration, for the right words to come to his head. An investor who auto invests $200 every month beats the one who's waiting for the perfect entry. That is not gambling. That is not luck. That is sacred mechanics. And in 2026, you're learning the system. You're going to do the system. We're going to change. We're going to be the ones that people look at in our family and say, you was the one. So let's recap. Line number one, saving is enough. Truth, investing builds wealth, right? Safety just delays poverty. That's the truth, right? Line number two, I'll start when I make more. The truth is, momentum beats amount. Start now with anything, $25, $50, $100. Line number three, the market is too risky. The truth is, fear is very, very expensive, but discipline, that's profitable. In 2026, you don't need another side hustle. You don't need another productivity hack, right? You don't need to work harder. My mentor tell me that all the time, right? You need a strategy that outlives your motivation. You need a system that runs whether you're excited or whether you're exhausted, like I was this morning when I got up and came here to do this. And for those who really want to be part of something, you need brick by brick. So here's what happens next. Links in the comments, my 2026 investing game plan, my exact portfolio, that's in brick by brick. The moves I'm making, the plays I'm watching, no fluff, just the blueprint. Because this is what we hear. And we don't want to just start another year doing the same thing. We want to be better. We want to be the one. Happy New Year, y'all.